Hi, I'm Matthew Buzzy from PC Mag, and we're here with Eric Ackerson from Acer, and he's here to talk about the Acer Predator Triton 300, which is one of their very attractive gaming laptops. Eric, take it away and tell us what's different about this edition of the Triton 300.
Wow, how much time do we have? Because there's so much to talk about. This is a really exciting product. I think probably the one that we're most interested in telling you about from our CES experience this year. So the Predator Triton 300 SE, SE stands for Special Edition. There are a couple things here that make it unique. I want to highlight first, it's a new style or form factor we haven't done. No, it's not a crazy convertible or anything like that. It's a 14-inch screen, and we've never done that on a gaming laptop before. That is pretty cool in and of itself. Then, as it's a special edition version, we wanted to make it a little different. We made some changes to the industrial design. This is not something that will be reflected on the rest of the product lineup, but let me show you here what I mean. Right here on the A cover, you would typically expect to see a large Predator logo and the Predator brand stamped across there with maybe some blue teal accents. We don't have that going on here. Instead, we have a very subdued, hopefully the camera's picking that up. I'll try and change the lighting so you can see it. Just the Predator logo, very small, up in the corner. Another part of this whole design change for this product is it's silver. It's not black, not glossy black, not matte black. The whole aesthetic is different, and there's a reason for that. It's certainly capable of playing games, but it's not really targeted specifically at gamers. This is more of a professional device for people that need a lot of power and performance to get their work done, who also happen to want to be able to play games. And that's what the Predator Triton 300 SE allows them to do.
Great. Yeah, that looks awesome. Definitely used to. I like the black and white blue color scheme that Predator products have taken on compared to the kind of overdone red and black. Everything's got to be red and black when it's a gaming machine. But I think I might like this even more. It's kind of the sleek, almost ultrabook kind of styling where yeah, the brand is smaller and the finish is very simple. I definitely like the look of that. And 14 inches, it kind of adds to that feel of a compact professional notebook, even though it's gaming capable. And on that note, gaming capable, talk about what's inside. There were a couple platform launches at CES this year. And so I assume that is related to the components on this one.
Indeed, and so what helps enable it to be powerful enough for professionals to get work done and for playing games are a couple of things, as you've highlighted or hinted at. Brand new from Intel is the 11th gen Intel Core series of processors, and that's baked into the Predator Triton 300 SE. In addition, new graphics from our friends at Nvidia. So now it's going to have the GeForce RTX 3060 graphics in this slim design. Back at the beginning of this conversation, I didn't highlight for those that don't know, the Predator line of laptops has two different segments or branches of that family tree. The Triton, which is thin and light, and we're seeing that here, and then the Helios, which is a little more burly, more traditional gaming laptop design. This is in the thin and light category. And working with these amazing new components from our partners, we're able to make a stylish design that is crazy powerful, but still maintains the thinness that we're looking for. Something we've done to further enable that, as well as rock solid performance, is we've integrated our own cooling solution. There have been several iterations over the years, and this is now the 5th generation of our AeroBlade 3D fan technology. And this is really neat. We could talk for 20 minutes just about that. I won't bore everybody by giving too many details, but a couple of them are. The fan is all aluminum. It has extremely thin blades. It used to be 0.1 millimeters, now it's 0.08 millimeters. And there are some advantages and disadvantages to that, mostly advantages. We've, in the past, as we made these progressive changes to the product, introduced curves or channels to the blades. We've added kind of a serrated edge to the blade and then a little winglet on top. All of this is designed to corral the airflow and make sure that there's no turbulence, which creates noise, or pockets where the components aren't getting cooled and then you have instability throttling down. So the 5th generation, like I said, goes to a thinner blade, but also adds a ring. I don't have a sample, this is also new, but if you look top down on the fan, it's a circle and there's a ring inside. What this does is helps capture the air where it needs to be and prevents that turbulence that would otherwise create noise.
Impressive sounding, yeah. I mean, people are very concerned about, even skeptical, even still, even though they've come a long way, about the heating capability of a gaming laptop when you're pushing high-end frame rates and demanding games. But I assume enhancements like that, of course, we'll have to test these sorts of things, but enhancements like that theoretically should improve on the small margins of the enthusiast gamers, the performance and the sound and things like that. So definitely an appealing addition. I assume there's a scale of component options available within those platforms that you mentioned. I mean, Acer usually has at least several models of each laptop and kind of different things for each price point, even within one laptop.
Absolutely. And, I think I'm speaking from the perspective of the North America team. There are configs that we make available on a platform worldwide. We might be a little more narrow focused in what we bring to market here, at least to start with. But we'll be starting off with that 14-inch screen I mentioned. It's full HD, it's IPS, and it has 144 hertz refresh. We'll be configuring the new Core i7 11375H processor. It'll have 16 gigabytes of RAM, 512 gigabytes of M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD storage, and that new GeForce RTX 3060 graphics with 6 gigs of video RAM. Options, upgrades, other configs, potentially in the US and around the world, up to 24 gigabytes of RAM. It'll have the option of up to 1 terabyte of storage. Keep in mind, this is a thin device, so we're not going to be packing in multiple hard drives and things like that. And it can have some other options on the CPUs, probably more in the stepping down sort of thing to reach more achievable price points. The config I gave you has availability in March. That means we're actually going to hope to see it on shelf or online where people can buy it early March with a price of $1,399.
Awesome. Sounds great. And there's a couple of other supporting features. I know in addition to obviously the components are really what everyone wants to hear about in addition to the form factor, but with a price point like that, it's not just the basics. So it's a nice mid-range starting price that includes things like RGB on the keys and the advanced cooling that you mentioned, Thunderbolt support. Those are the kinds of extras that get thrown in when you leave the entry-level pricing. Predator Sense, I know, is one of the better softwares I tend to use for monitoring and testing and tweaking components. And I assume that will work well with the new cooling fans. Are there anything else you want to touch on as far as extras or components, features, or anything else like that?
Well, I'm glad you brought up Predator Sense, because that is something worth pointing out. Every Predator system, laptop or desktop based, includes that, and it has also seen some improvements over time. We keep adding features. This time around, it has even more settings. And Predator Sense, for those that don't know, is where a user would go in to check the system health, specific CPU, GPU temperature, fan speed, things like that. But then they can also control fan speed, including overclocking. And there are multiple settings for that, but I think the most important for the segment we're targeting here is the quiet. So lowering the fan speed, but maintaining the quality of performance they're looking for is part of that whole cooling solution, the software that's tuned with it, and get that going. As it is a part of the 11th gen Intel Core series of processors, it also includes Thunderbolt 4. So you get fast data transfer, easy to connect like a switch or a hub for it. Got, everybody likes those ports. There we go. Taking a look at the ports there. It's got that there. Great sound from the device. You're going to probably in a work environment and gaming a lot of times want to use a headset, but great sound there. The other thing about Predator Sense, jumping back to that real quick, is we're using Killer for the Wi-Fi solution, and it is Wi-Fi 6. They have an interesting thing called Control Center. We've integrated that into Predator Sense. I think this is important because it gives the user control over bandwidth. They can turn on or off or throttle different applications right inside that Predator Sense software. It's quality of service, bandwidth control on the device instead of having to go to the router, which gives the user just so much control.
Yeah, I can speak for everyone who's had to fiddle with their router settings manual page that nobody likes to do that. Yeah, that's awesome. As I said, I think people are still, I hear it a lot, still skeptical, worried about what laptops can do in terms of heating. One of the most common questions we get asked, I think, is it get hot? Is it loud? Yeah, things like that. Being able to tweak it to your own level. Sometimes people don't mind the noise. They have headphones on. They block it out. And so having the option to rev those fans or keep it quieter and cooler is a good option. As you mentioned, it's 14 inches, which again in this category is definitely uncommon. You have a visual aid to show us the kind of space savings on the footprint that you can make with those sorts of changes?
I do indeed. So this is really a great visual, although we'll see how it translates over webcam. This is our new Triton, Predator Triton 300 SE, which is the 14-inch screen size, paired up against our new Nitro 5 15.6. I'm going to hold them edge to edge, so you can see on the edge there, and the edge there, and look how much space there is all the way around in terms of the footprint. So this 14-inch is a portable powerhouse.
Yeah, I think portability is a lot less about how thick something is, although it does help, and how much more than it is about how much actual footprint space you're saving. And in that front, screen bezels that are thin also always help that, but the footprint itself, getting that small actually makes a big difference for portability. So that's a pretty useful comparison. This definitely sounds appealing. I definitely like the look of it. 14 inches, as you said, we've seen few to no laptops at that size. So definitely looking forward to checking this one out. Thank you so much, Eric. Stay tuned to PC Mag for more coverage from CES, for more Acer products, and everything else announced at the tech show this year. Thanks so much for watching.